praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Habakah, Kadash. Double honors to the men of great millstone, elders and apostles who taught me this truth. Salutations to the four corners of the earth for the elect. My first video, and this has something to do with the kibbutz over in the Holy Land. Now, we're going to go through some situations first. While I waited to come on, this being the first lesson, I'm going to wait for it to come on. Now, with all that being said, I'm taught to quote scripture. I can't get a hold of my book at the moment, but I would like to share with you this video. Actually, it's called the Great American Drought, and it has something to do with this kibbutz situation. Now, we're gonna watch this program as soon as it comes from commercial, because the Lord put the spirit on me to share this with you all. Now, this being my first video that has to do with let's just say the lack of gold streets and 12 gates that Dr. Brown and Vocab Malone like to claim that they're the people. Oh, without further ado, here's the story.
This is about water, but it's also about our future, major reservoirs, and dangerously low levels. What can be done?
I believe that solution is going to be painful for everybody involved.
In the half hour ahead, a search for solutions in a country built in the desert.
Now, the Great American Drought. Reporting from the Great Salt Lake, meteorologist Scott Withers.
This is a Great Salt Lake. It's the largest saltwater lake in the Western Hemisphere, and as you can see, it's been decimated by drought. But this week, finally, some good news. Hundreds of inches of snowpack is melting. Dangerous? Yes, but also helpful for water levels here. But still, it's not enough. Drought is just one factor. This area is really highly reliant on water for agriculture. The water gets diverted from the lake before it even arrives. Here's how the lake looked in 1985. Here's how it looked last year. Scan the QR code on your screen now to see this again for yourself. Saving this lake is vital to people's lives. Companies come here to harvest salt and mine minerals like magnesium, which they use in products from soda cans to cars. People come here to have fun. It contributes $1.5 billion to Utah's economy. So what's going to save this lake that'll be good for the state of Utah and for the country? Fox 13's Ben Winslow traveled to Israel, a country built on a desert, to see how they've been able to thrive.
Rain, rain from the skies. All day long, drops of water. Drip, drop, drip, drop. Clap your hands.
That Israeli nursery rhyme teaches children about the importance of water. It serves as an inspiration for Utah's Department of Natural Resources director, who took state water officials and Utah lawmakers to Israel to learn about how the desert nation handles water.
The way that they respect water and manage that resource, I think we could really learn a lot from it.
Israel is well known in the world, managing very sustainable and high-level water sector.
Utah leaders are very interested in Israel's innovations in water conservation technology and whether it could help us and the Great Salt Lake.
My goal at the end of this is to take some of these ideas that are born here in Israel and see if they can fit into our system.
This technology is to develop
or to allow a new source of water to the city.
As Utah struggles with drought and saving the Great Salt Lake, the state is looking at what Israel has done.
I think that they have some advancements that we could really think about here for Utah.
The Utah legislature approved funding for new technologies, particularly when it comes to agriculture and water conservation. And the state is looking at importing some of that.
It's part of their culture. Water is so valuable to them, as it should be to us here in Utah, with the second driest state in the country.
Fresh desalinated water.
Israel has innovated ways to find water, use it, reuse it, and utilize technologies to help with conservation.
The innovation was incredible. The way they're considered a startup nation.
The country, founded in 1948 as a Jewish state, has had to find its own water. Israel treats water as a public property controlled by the state. There are no private water rights. They also have something else that's different than here in the United States, a centralized body making decisions.
In Israel, they had one table where they brought together the water, the environmental community, the water community, the agriculture community, the defense, and all of these together saying, what is it in the best interest of the state of Israel?
The Israeli government imposes universal tariffs for sectors like residential, industrial, and agriculture.
There is a water authority that determines the price, and it's a unanimous price for everyone. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down, depends on the pricing of energy. It's quite fair.
Israel uses a tier system for water use. It's one rate up to 1,000 gallons and doubles after that. The typical Israeli household pays roughly $150 a month for water. Either way, it's a lot more than the average Utah household pays, about $60 a month, and Utahns use more than 13,000 gallons of water a month.
We have about 470 water suppliers, and they all have different pricing structures and different rates.
ישראל מתייבשת, ולא רק ישראל.
The country prizes water conservation. This TV ad generated a lot of attention in Israel and was considered critical to getting people to conserve.
I think water conservation, to save water, to treat the water is a very important source. Not to treat water as something that we have enough of it. We're going to have less and less water in the future. Countries like Israel and Utah probably will suffer from water scarcity.
The Sea of Galilee, known locally as Lake Kinneret, used to be up to 30% of Israel's drinking water. Now it's less than 10%. That's because Israel now takes water from the Mediterranean Sea and puts it through a process known as desalination, where the salt from the ocean water is extracted.
85% of their drinking water comes from desalinated water.
Israel now generates a surplus of water and sells some to Jordan and the Palestinian Authority. The country has leaned heavily into it, building 5 desalination plants, with more being planned. Desalination isn't really used in the United States because of high operating costs, the amount of energy needed, and environmental issues.
Up to 4 hours, you can use it in your house. You can drink the water, you can wash your clothes, you can cook with it, whatever you want to do. Goes down the drain, comes to here. Sewer comes from over there. You can see it on the horizon, the outskirts of Tel Aviv.
Mekorot, Israel's national water company, processes the wastewater, and that water is reused.
It goes down to the mid-desert, hundreds of kilometers south, to be used in the agriculture sector.
Wastewater is used to water crops.
They reclaim 90% of that water and reuse it in their agriculture communities.
Israel is the world's top user of reclaimed water.
Use the treated sewage as another source of water.
In order to avoid erosion,
And the country is also experimenting with new ways to get water, including this park that acts as a natural biofilter for stormwater.
I know exactly how much I consume.
The country has also leaned heavily into technology to help track water, like this app.
Apparently, there's a big spread between the savings of water in Israel and in Utah, but using the right technologies and employing them in the right places will certainly help reduce that.
Utah's delegation was pitched by a number of tech companies offering products that might help the state in its water crisis.
We believe that there are solutions here today that you will find.
Barry Gluck represents a company that tracks water leaks.
Israel is a leader in the world in water technology.
The Israeli Innovation Authority, an arm of the government, helps provide funding for a lot of startup tech companies.
I was really blown away, for lack of a better term, by the amount of resources that the Israeli government is willing to invest in startups without any return.
Utah leaders say it's something to emulate here.
I want Utah to be the leader in the United States in water conservation, in water development technology, and innovation.
Up next, from sand to strawberries. How are they doing it? And what can American farmers learn?